Hi, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about exploratory mixed methods. As I was looking through the chapters and readings on mixed methods, I determined that an exploratory mixed methods approach would be actually quite perfect for serving the needs of my study. To start with, understanding the context of the study and the research questions. My research questions are tending to be very fluid at the moment. However, they are definitely surrounding the idea of relational trust in an academic setting, with teacher perceptions of trust between teachers and administrators. And then the questions intend to illuminate to what extent a new administrator has implemented Franciscan values to increase trustful relationships within the district. So by the time I actually begin my research, this assistant superintendent will have been on the job for a year, actually. And he has stated that building relationships is one of his goals. And I would like to see if he has actually succeeded and to what level. And then in that, in his approach, in what ways has he used some of the Franciscan ideologies, which I'm not going to necessarily say to him or the teachers that these are Franciscan ideologies, but as you know from our readings, notions of honesty, integrity, value for a person's uniqueness, empathy, understanding of others, these are all Franciscan frameworks that I feel naturally lend themselves to building trustful relationships. So why would a mixed methods case study work? In this case, an exploratory mixed methods case study would work because the surveys and data would provide a starting point through um, surveys and then take the data from the surveys and combine it with interviews, asking teachers their perceptions of any changes in district trust over the year. Strategies for integration and phases, they would begin with the surveys with the Likert scale, basic data including the levels of trust from before this person started. And also, I think it would be interesting to understand where the teachers are coming from. For example, are they there for more than 25 years? Does that impact how they view trust in a building or in the school? Or are they a new teacher and do they see it differently? So perhaps a teacher who has been there for the tenure of several different superintendents and principals would be a little more biased or have a little more experience to build on compared to a newer teacher who this might even be their first job. And so they're eager to believe and trust in everything that's going on, and they don't have a background to build from. Then after that, I'll have interviews that can be thematically sorted. And then analysis of the data will include the sorting tools from Microsoft and Excel to determine any patterns or areas of strengths and weaknesses within trust as the study started out. And then the sorting tools for the interviews as well. And then interpretation of the data. Once it's been sorted and analyzed, and we can find emerging themes to discover how they mesh between the surveys and the interviews, and we can pull those themes out. The data that can be sorted and explained, um, Microsoft Forms, I'm very familiar with it, as is everybody within my district. So it's super easy to get those sent out, and people who are taking those interviews or surveys will know exactly what to do and how it works. Furthermore, they understand the anonymity of them and how that works as well. And then the interviews will provide the ability to assess whether trust has increased over the time span of the administrator's first year. Mostly open-ended questions, and then we can code them and look for the themes that emerge that can support using that ideology as a basis for building trust. So merging this data and how it fits together, as I mentioned, both will provide a complete picture of where the concept of trust was at the beginning of the administrator's tenure and how and in what ways it has been rebuilt, if in fact it has. I think just one set of data, if it was solely surveys, that would not be enough to give a complete picture. So, and also if it was only interviews, you wouldn't have that basis that you need for understanding how teachers perceive trust. What does it mean to them? What has it looked like across the district? You need kind of a starting point to see where it's going to go or where it has gone. And as far as ethical concerns go, absolutely, it will be imperative that every aspect is kept confidential and that participants are safe from discovery. I know for myself, I want that anonymity. I don't want people to know where the district is, what my uh, position, obviously they're going to know my positionality and my positionality statement, but I don't want them to know personally that it's me at first, right? The teachers deserve and should have anonymity. They don't need to feel threatened that someone's going to find out their answers and that there would be some kind of a fallout for that. In addition, any identifiable aspects of the district will be changed to protect the district identity from being discovered. I don't want anybody within the area to be able to figure out, oh, I know exactly where this is. So that is the plan for that. And a conclusion, Mixed Methods provides a complete picture for the research and ways to answer the research questions as noted in Creswell and Creswell. Once both sets of data have been analyzed for themes, then a cross-case comparison can be made, allowing an overall sense of the case and how the questions were addressed. So in the exploratory mixed methods, the part I really appreciated in the book is on page 247, where they kind of give a diagram and they show how each set of data has been researched almost on its own. They've got two columns of research as far as the input, the data input, and then the analysis for each kind of on its own, the interpretation for each. And then once both sets of data have been analyzed, interpreted, they kind of merge them together to come up with the themes for both of them together, if that makes any sense. And then you have a cross-case comparison. I really liked that idea of kind of looking at one set and then another set and then bringing them together thematically. So that is how I have concluded that mixed methods would provide a complete picture of research for my dissertation. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me and have a great day. If I can stop this recording, that would be super helpful.